Recovery Inspired Hope. I'm Jamie Tall, and I'm here right in local Athens, Georgia, with Director of Operations, Scott from Mission 6. Scott, this amazing organization is brand new, exciting. Will you tell everyone a little bit about Mission 6 and what you do here?
So yeah, we're a local nonprofit in Athens, Georgia, that are attempting to meet and support veterans in our community through unhoused, substance use disorder, mental health, PTSD, military sexual trauma, and post-service life support. Basically, we started this organization back in July of 2022, which has the significance of the approximately 22 veterans a day that commit suicide. I was nearly the same statistics back in 2016. So we're attempting to reach out to all veterans in the area of support to help them find their way home again. I kind of have a tagline: "We fought together, let's heal together." And
I love that.
yeah,
That's so good. We fought together, let's heal together.
Right.
Because that's such a huge need from what I've seen being in the recovery community, is the lack of support for veterans, because there is so much trauma, PTSD, grief, all of these things. And to have this kind of organization is going to be groundbreaking and so helpful to so many people. So how can people find out about Mission 6? I know you guys are online on Facebook, on Instagram,
right.
And I'll put the link in there for that. And also your actual office is right here, right next to PLR. So that's amazing. So you have like a whole recovery community and everything. So that is great. Why was Mission 6 so important to you?
So yeah, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm also a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorder, mental health. So yeah, basically about 6 years ago, when I hit my bottom, I had amazing support from my family, but they also had to allow me to do me, to find my pathway. And so we're trying to recreate what I feel like the needs that I had 6 years ago. I went through several different organizations that assisted me, put me together with other veterans that could understand, the things I was going through, that give me a hand up. And this took place prior to me going. I was at the VA for about 6 months, trying to get help. And so sitting down and meet with other veterans that could understand me, help find my way. And in those areas is what we're trying to help other veterans, support them in these ways, with no judgment, all inclusive. Anybody's welcome, regardless of your discharge status. We want to love everybody, give everybody, like I said, a hand up, find support, and help them by us walking with them. We always hear the thing of "we got your six," and that's part of what our name is from. And we've also got 6 bullet points, basically, of unhoused people, veterans with substance use disorder, mental health needs, PTSD, and then military sexual trauma, and then post-service life support, which basically encompasses the family, because oftentimes the veteran has got his battles, but yet the family and spouses and so forth, the children of veterans, they're maybe not considered, which is tragic.
Right.
So
that's awesome. So it sounds like you really have all your bases covered, and you also have a medical unit.
Right.
So tell us about that.
So yeah, we've got a physician, Dr. David Paulk, who is a DO and a psychiatrist. His wife's a RN. My wife's a nurse practitioner, and so our goal is to set up a mobile unit where we can go and give physicals. We can take any type of required shots they may have, flu or otherwise, and just get their basic medical needs met at no charge. This is something we're doing as a voluntary type thing. It's going to be without charge of any kind. And we had a great win a couple of weeks ago when here in Athens there was a horrific cold weather came through around Christmas, and we recognized a vet that was living in the woods, and we were able to meet his needs. Well, our doctor came out and did a physical as well. Come to find out the man had skin cancer. So our team was able to assemble, get him to the required doctors with a skin cancer facility, and they did all the scans and so forth. And he's going to next couple of weeks have surgery to remove this. And the great thing is that this cancer did not spread to any other part of his body. So this was a great win for Mission 6 and our team.
Yeah,
so.
That sounds amazing. Like, you guys are really boots on the ground ministry. Absolutely. Doing God's work.
Right.
I love that. That is amazing.
We fought together, let's heal together. And
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. We fought together, let's heal together.
Right. So yeah, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm also a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorder, mental health. So yeah, basically about 6 years ago, when I hit my bottom, I had amazing support from my family, but they also had to allow me to do me, to find my pathway. And so we're trying to recreate what I feel like the needs that I had 6 years ago. I went through several different organizations that assisted me, put me together with other veterans that could understand the things I was going through, that give me a hand up. And this took place prior to me going. I was at the VA for about 6 months, trying to get help. And sitting down and meet with other veterans that could understand me, help find my way. And in those areas is what we're trying to help other veterans, support them in these ways, with no judgment, all inclusive. Anybody's welcome, regardless of your discharge status. We want to love everybody, give everybody, like I said, a hand up, find support, and help them by us walking with them. We always hear the thing of, we got your 6, and that's part of what our name is from. And we've also got 6 bullet points, basically, of unhoused people, veterans with substance use disorder, mental health needs, PTSD, and then military sexual trauma, and then post-service life support, which basically encompasses the family, because oftentimes the veteran has got his battles, but yet the family and spouses and so forth, the children of veterans, they're maybe not considered, which is tragic.
Right.
So
that's awesome. So it sounds like you really have all your bases covered, and you also have a medical unit.
Right.
So tell us about that.
So yeah, we've got a physician, Dr. David Paulk, who is a DO and a psychiatrist. His wife's a RN. My wife's a nurse practitioner, and so our goal is to set up a mobile unit where we can go and give physicals. We can take any type of required shots they may have, flu or otherwise, and just get their basic medical needs met at no charge. This is something we're doing as a voluntary type thing. It's going to be without charge of any kind. And we had a great win a couple of weeks ago when here in Athens there was a horrific cold weather came through around Christmas, and we recognized a vet that was living in the woods, and we were able to meet his needs. Well, our doctor came out and did a physical as well. Come to find out the man had skin cancer. So our team was able to assemble, get him to the required doctors with a skin cancer facility, and they did all the scans and so forth. And he's going to next couple of weeks have surgery to remove this. And the great thing is that this cancer did not spread to any other part of his body. So this was a great win for Mission 6 and our team.
That sounds amazing. Like, you guys are really boots on the ground ministry. Absolutely. Doing God's work.
Right.
I love that. That is amazing. And here we have Bubba Van, who is the outreach director. of Mission 6. So outreach is so important, right? Because how else are people going to know and establish that kind of connection for this organization? Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of outreach you do? What does that look like?
Yes, ma'am. What I do is like if I go into a store, grocery store, Sam's Club, Walmart, I try to do some outreach there for, possible companies, that would like to help support what we do. I also hit the streets. I hand out cards. I hand my card out to some veterans, some non-veterans, some people I know, just anybody I see, to try to put the word out there about the Mission 6 and our organization and what we're trying to do.
So you guys have some really amazing long-term goals.
Yes, we do. We would like to establish some housing so we could get some of our veterans in off of the streets, and some that are in homes. They're already in homes, but we'd still like to have a place to bring them so they could get some services or whatever, because there's a lot of vets out there that the VA will not touch because of their discharge, and we do not discriminate against discharges. It don't matter. We just want to help you out.
Right. And can you tell me why Mission 6 is so important to you?
I was in the Marine Corps, and I established a family, a brotherhood, and of course that was severed because of a decision I made. But for a long time I was missing something, and that I know there's a lot of vets out there that need help, like myself with the discharge that I have. I wanted to bridge the gap between the VA and veterans who need that help, where the VA sends them away. I believe we can bridge that gap.
Is there a stigma around discharge?
Yes, there is. If you don't have a honorable or a general under honorable discharge, OTHs, BCDs, dishonorable BCD is a bad conduct discharge. Your dishonorable discharges, you literally have no help whatsoever from the VA. Doesn't matter if you served 10, 15, or 20 years, you get one of those discharges, they will turn you away.
Wow. So the support from Mission 6 is really vital, life-saving.
Yes, it is. And some of those vets with dishonorable and bad conduct discharges some of them are addicts and just didn't get the help. Some of them were in wartime and have PTSD. Now they have a dishonorable discharge. Now the VA doesn't want nothing to do with them. It ain't that they don't want to. I'm just to put it this way, they can't.
Right, between their
Yes.
policies and
Yes.
things like that. Wow. So that is amazing for you guys to bridge that gap and to be able to support those people no matter what, no judgment, and to be able to serve, and I really like how you talked about a brotherhood, right? Because I imagine going through the Marine Corps or whatever service, branch of service you were in, that you develop that kind of brotherhood, and then when you're not in there anymore, you probably feel abandoned almost or lost.
You do. It's hard to find that same commitment in the civilian world. It is very hard to find somebody that literally will have your back no matter what. So.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and for your service here at Mission 6.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kay Remar, and I'm the Business and Strategic Manager for Mission 6, and this is my husband.
Tom Remar. I'm Chairman of the Board of Mission 6.
We got involved in Mission 6 because of Scott, really. He was one of our really good friends. We missed him, and he was having a real hard time. And when he got himself back to civilian life and helping other people. He actually came to us and talked about different things that we could do for the veterans. And so Tom and I pretty much thought this is a great calling for us to get involved in, because we're both retired, so we have time. And I am the business manager mainly because I was an SBDC consultant. That's the Small Business Development Center. And I did that job for about 5 years, and I helped a lot of people with business plans and marketing and sales. And really what Mission 6 needs is a business plan. They need financials. We also need strategic planning. What are we going to do now? How are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? And so that's kind of why I got involved, is to help that whole process. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom and let him tell you why he got involved.
I'm chairman of the board. Probably that came from the reason Mission 6 was started around my kitchen table here, and since it was my kitchen table, they made me the boss. So that's that's not quite exactly how it happened, but close enough. The reason that I got involved with Mission 6 is when I was in the military. I was in the military police, and during the Vietnam era, which dates me a little bit, you'll notice I'm older than the rest of them. But we'd see a tremendous amount of drug use, and terrible toll it took on these young soldiers, these teenagers, early 20s, and would get involved for one reason or another in drugs, and it would destroy them physically and mentally. And then as after I got out of the military and became more acquainted with the toll that it was still taking on these soldiers, young soldiers, as they entered civilian life with no direction after the military, and with the pressures that were put upon them after the Vietnam War. And I really became concerned, distraught, when the numbers started coming out of how many soldiers were committing suicide every day. And not a day didn't go by, but we lost some people. And then to find out that here we are 50 years after Vietnam War, and we're still having that problem with Vietnam veterans. And we're still having problems with World War II veterans. So there's a huge need out there. And it was apparent to us after talking to Scott, talking to other veterans, that there is a need there that was not being fulfilled. And it's different than having a Veterans Administration, a large organization that really can't get down on the street, boots on the ground, as Scott calls it, to really go out, meet these people, and try to talk to them peer to peer and bring them back into what I like to say is bring them back into society. And I know that's a general term, but basically get their feet back on the ground so that they can function again as people in our society. And that's the reason we put Mission 6 together. You know, we're the guys that go out into the woods and find these veterans and try to help become friends, help them a little bit, maybe help them a lot more, and hopefully in that way they can come to trust us, they can come to trust themselves, to be functional part of where we are. And we've got a lot of goals. We have one of the most significant things we can do is wellness checks on these guys that have been living in the woods for years and just haven't even had their blood pressure taken. So we had a recent example of a guy that we were able to bring in to get some shelter during a time of very cold weather, and our doctor looked at him and found skin cancer, and we set up a program now where he's going to have surgery to remove it, and then hopefully from there we can work with him to keep him healthy.
And here I have my friend Carla, who is the business administrator for Mission 6. And tell us a little bit about what you do here and why this organization is so important to you.
I wrangle all the cats, as we friendly put it, with everybody kind of throwing ideas out in the air. I'm the one documenting everything and putting everything into motion and making sure we have programs and schedules and kind of keeping everybody on track. So that's kind of where we're starting. I do have, we want to be a peer coach, so that is a certification I will be getting so I can contribute more to our company. So that's kind of where we're at with just kind of building our company and making sure we have all the resources we need. So when we start getting veterans in our doors, we can actually help them with what they need specifically.
And so we also need to grow this team, right?
Yeah, we are definitely looking for people interested in peer coaching. We're interested in anybody involved to wanting to give their time. We, could visit with folks in elderly homes, nursing homes, retirement places, anything of that nature, just so that veterans from, older generations don't feel so isolated. But also we would like to have, any younger military folk who would like to join us. It kind of helps us when we go out into the communities to connect better with our target audience. We are really wanting to get to veterans, and without the help of veterans and some civilians, we can't actually do that on our own. We need more help.
Right. And also spreading awareness.
Absolutely.
Through, local businesses out here, business owners out here, corporations out here that may have employees, right?
Exactly.
That have been through these things.
Yep. If you know of anybody who is struggling, send them our way. If you know of anybody willing to help, send them our way. But also, tell everybody you know about us. And, once we network and grow that network, we can, utilize those resources and help more people. And the more resources we have, the more people we can help.
And you also said you have a personal friend who was a young person.
Yes. So I was in the later years of high school when 9/11 happened. So, a fair amount of the young men that I grew up with were serving in Project Iraqi Freedom, and lost a friend. Scott is familiar with the family as well. And, I got to see firsthand not only what it does to the individuals who are serving, but the families also. So I think, it's more than...
Carla, why is this organization so dear to your heart?
I think personally, watching my dad and my grandparents, they were military, and watching the reasons people go into the military, trying to better their lives or get educations, and then end up in war zones and become things like weapons specialists with no education to speak of when they come out, and they feel like they're an underserved community. They have done what they were supposed to do for our country in order to provide for themselves. And I think that a lot of people in bad situations make the choice to go into the military because they don't have options, and they're hoping to get out of the military and have more options, but it falls short because of the bureaucratic red tape. So we're trying to fill in those blanks where so many people will just fall between the cracks, and we want to be in between those cracks, catching people and helping them get back up on their feet in whatever capacity they want to be back up on their feet.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here at Mission 6, funding is really critical for us, and that's our mobile medical care center that we want to have, and that would require a van or something like an old ambulance. We also want to do a recovery unit, a respite house. So the other goal is to have a transport van where we can take veterans to the doctor or to the VA center in Augusta, Atlanta, or here in Athens. So funding is critical. I'm going to let Tom tell you how we can actually get some funds if you're willing to help us help veterans. Thank you.
We'd appreciate any help you could give us and give our veterans. We can donate at online at mission6@gmail.com, and that's MISS@gmail.com. And here is our phone number. We would appreciate anything you can do to help any vets, as we've got funds to be able to do that. And we're the only organization in the 10-county area here that does get the boots on the ground and goes out and searches the woods and the homeless camps to find our people. And we just need we would appreciate any help that you could give us to meet that goal. Another thing that is really important to remember is that some of the people that we're involved with now are Vietnam veterans. That's from 50 years ago. And so we know that in 50 years, we're still going to be working with the people, the young veterans that are coming out now. So this is a long-term situation, long-term problem that we're facing. We need to have a stable, long-term organization that'll be there over the decades to help our young men and women. Thanks so much.